What's up, y'all? It's Janae Tui, low key and free, and I am here to talk about Mercury retrograde. Happy Sunday, y'all. We are in the midst of Mercury retrograde right now. I wanted to do this video for y'all just to let you know what Mercury retrograde is, get y'all in the know, and explain how it affects us, because it does affect everybody, whether you think so or not. Okay. But yeah, so first of all, what does it mean when a planet is retrograde? A planet is retrograde when it appears to go backwards in its orbit as viewed from Earth. In reality, it's an optical illusion though, because planets don't really move backwards. It just appears like that from Earth. The opposite of a retrograde is when a planet is direct, forward moving. And each planet has its own retrograde periods. Saturn actually was in retrograde for about 6 months. It just went direct today. And Mercury is the planet that goes in retrograde most frequently. It's in retrograde about 2 to 3 times a year for about a 3-week period. So we see a lot of Mercury retrograde shows, I'll say. The last time we had Mercury retrograde was in June, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But Mercury is the planet of communications, technology that we use on a day-to-day basis, automobiles, memory, short distance travel. Mercury rules over all of those. When it is retrograde, we may see those things be affected during this 3-week period. I mean, like, communication is going to be affected. A lot of people say, like, don't text your ex during Mercury retrograde. And that's because sometimes a lot of people experience getting back into communications with people from the past. Or you'll find, like, a lot of people from your past want to pop up and communicate with you randomly. Last time Mercury was in retrograde, I had a coworker reach out to me and communicate with me on Instagram, and I haven't talked to her in like 4 years. So it can not only be exes, but just people that you had a relationship with somehow. One time my neighbor too got in contact with me, my old neighbor who I hadn't seen in years. Excuse me. So it just plays out for people differently in terms of communication. Also, sometimes your communication could be a little twisted during this time. So it's good to think about how you communicate and how your words, or like how what you say comes off to others, because sometimes people can get your words distorted during this time. I always advise a social media break during Mercury retrograde, because a lot of times we could say things that we don't mean, or we could say something and it'll get taken out of context. So just be aware of that during this period. It rules over automobiles, so beware of car troubles. Check engine light prior to Mercury retrograde. If your car's been giving you a little bit of problems, don't wait for Mercury to go retrograde for you to get that fixed, because I've had last Mercury retrograde in 2020, a car literally broke down on me. And I knew that it was a bad car, and I just put it off until Mercury got into retrograde, and then it just broke down. So beware of that. Beware of your driving. My friend got into an accident, and not saying that's gonna happen, but it's just car troubles, you know. So beware of that during Mercury retrograde. Be careful on the road. Get that oil changed. What else? Short distance travel. Last time in June when I traveled to Las Vegas, it was a Mercury retrograde, and I missed the flight. I ended up missing the flight. There was hella road work on the road. We ended up leaving longer, or we ended up taking longer to leave than we were supposed to. And we didn't account for there to be hella road work. So you can't really account for that stuff during this time unless like you're hella early, or you know, you're making sure you're hella early. So be aware of traveling. I know a lot of people's flights get canceled during this time, or some shit happens, you know. So I try to avoid travel during this period. My astrologer always says to like double check your plans. Call the hotel in advance, you know, to make sure like your reservation is saved, just so you back yourself up. And be aware of those delays that could take place. What else? Memory. I did talk about being aware of time management, because it's easy to forget things during this time. Thinking about time management and how you spend your time, what you spend your time on. Is it benefiting you? That's something that you could think about during Mercury retrograde. The technology we use on a day-to-day basis could be affected. I know in my workplace, we have like a crazy ass like tech problem, and something happens where we can't ring someone up, or I don't know, the online payment system stops working, some shit like that. But if you're in school or something and you need to back up your files, make sure you're backing up your files prior to Mercury retrograde, because stuff could get deleted somehow, or you might lose, you know, you could lose it. But it's always just a good idea to back your shit up during this time. What else? Oh, so this is a quote from my astrologer Danielle. Shout out Danielle at Stars, Moon, and Sun on Twitter. She tweeted, whenever we are talking about Mercury retrograde, we are talking about all those rewords: redo, revisit, realize, reclaim, reassess, reconcile, and reflect. It's in the sign of Libra right now, so our relationships are going to be what is also affected during Mercury in retrograde. So I would say for everybody to use this time to do just that, to reassess the plans that you want, to reassess what you want in your life, you know, to reassess your relationships, and to, I guess, use this time to get re-inspired. That's what I'm doing, at least. I'm planning out what I want to do. I'm getting re-inspired. I'm rethinking how I once did things in order to go forward and make things better. So hopefully you guys can do that too, or take this period of time to do that and to really reflect on you. Yeah, I hope that you guys aren't scared of Mercury retrograde. It's not something you should be scared of. It's more something you should be aware of. And that's why I'm making this video too, just to get you guys in the know. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this little video. Hit me up if you have any astrology questions or whatever. I'd be happy to answer them. But yeah, in the meantime, hope everybody has a wonderful day. Hope everybody's navigating through this Mercury retrograde in the best way for them. All right. See y'all soon.